The Megillah, Part 2. In summary of Part 1, at the time of all beginning, that which existed was a solid mass of inert antimatter, the result of potential in the consciousness of the Creator. By this consciousness, an initial energy affected the inert antimatter mass by vibration, producing sound, and sound likewise producing vibration. This is referred to as the Logos. This vibration released antimatter springs from an inert state of energy emission, which caused the appearance of absolute antimatter, which is developed pre-matter in a quantized state. Our solid of antimatter has something within it which is different. Amid the ground state stability of the antimatter mass, an energy is absorbed to above the degree necessary to remain inert. While the kinetic potential of this solid mass of compressed springs exudes of energy, energy serves no function, as it is emitted to the same degree as is required to do work. We can designate the unopened springs within this inert mass as being insaturate antimatter. But with the opening of one little spring, a place in the mass becomes unstable. Next to the instability, other springs are released, and more instability occurs. There erupts a shaking. A piece of the solid is coming loose, animated among the inanimate. Suddenly, like a burst polyp, an energized group of antimatter springs are released within the insaturate antimatter. We designate these energized and reactionary group of proximal springs clustered in their open state as absolute antimatter. They are of the solid yet different from the solid. Within the status of the solid, they were comparatively energized. Once outside the confines of status, the spring extends itself, realizing in the birth of time wavelengths in their complete variety, from gamma rays to light waves to radio waves, until the energy within the release reaches an apex through which the particle achieves a spent status. This absolute antimatter would appear flash bulb in the darkness of the nothingness. As different as light from darkness, it is like the solid in its status, yet has become separate from the solid in its form. It is a particle of matter. Regarding matter, we know that energy dissipation produces reduction, and with reduction, the gain of electrons. But when considering antimatter, what would be reduced to gain electrons? Our antimatter solid is not atomically gifted, for atoms as such do not yet exist. Though peanut brittle may not make for a good atomic model, it works well as an antimatter model. Held within the rigid field of many compressed springs, we recognize the generalized or insaturate antimatter in the field of the candy brittle. The peanuts spaced randomly throughout the candy brittle field represent those concentrated or quantized groups of antimatter considered absolute. As springs began to release their energy and cause other proximal springs to likewise expand, the wavelengths emitted produce vibration, and vibration produces sound, capable of shifting other particles within the solid, just as the salt was affected by our speaker experiment. Consider that if sound could be concentrated within one peanut, its subsequent vibration would cause the peanut to wriggle loose and be ejected from the candy field, leaving a hole. Remembering that our peanut brittle is not within an environment that would allow gravity or other influences to eject the peanut into the nothingness, the separation of this little piece from the great solid of antimatter has produced an ancestor to the electron, having many like properties, including that character of antimatter we recognize as radioactivity, for these particles would exhibit the tightest frequencies. We define the suspended peanut cloud as the beta particle. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day.